Jæja, hvernig hafið það öll sömur? Ég vona að hafið það gott. En þetta námskeiðið Lærum íslensku, or this is the course Let's Learn Icelandic. I forgot the name of my own course. This is the course Let's Learn Icelandic. And today we're going to talk about plurals in the neutral gender. As I hope that you all know, we have three genders in Icelandic, three genders. We have masculine, female, and neutral, or as we say in Icelandic, karlkyn, kvenkyn, og hvorugkyn. Let me say that once again for the pronunciation reasons. Karlkyn, kvenkyn, and hvorugkyn. And out of all these three genders that we have, the plural is easiest in the neutral form. Yay, 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 yay. So this lesson will not be particularly hard. So basically, with only three simple rules, you cover, I think, all cases of neutral plurals, or almost all. So this is good news for all of you guys, and I hope that you're happy, or maybe you're not because you don't know how bad it is in the other genders, but at least the neutral is very manageable, very manageable. Rule number 1, or regla nummer 8, in most cases, neutral words, or hvorugkynsorð, neutral words, are the same in the singular and in the plural. Okay, they are the same in the singular and in the plural. Okay, so it starts off pretty nicely, and I wasn't lying. It's not hard at all. So I'll give you some examples. We have, for example, a word that we've seen many times in this course, and this is apple. And we say eitt epli. When we have only one apple, we say eitt epli. But if we have many, we say mörg epli. These can be, for example, þrjú epli. So it's the same in the singular and in the plural. And we have other words, for example, like kyn, like for example the word hvorugkyn, which means the neutral gender, and kyn by itself just means gender. If you have one gender, it's eitt kyn, but in Icelandic we have three genders, or þrjú kyn, all the same, very easy. A couple of other examples. In Icelandic you can have a man, woman, and then a non-binary adult. So we have maður, kona, and then a kvár. Kvár is a non-binary adult. And then we say eitt kvár if we have one person. And if we have, let's say, 4, then we will say fjögur kvár. And in the same way, we can have a non-binary child or a kid, and then we have a strákur, stelpa, and stálp, like boy, girl, and a non-binary kid. And then we can have eitt stálp, or maybe we have two individuals, and then we have tvö stálp. So very easy, it's exactly the same. Notice that kvár and stálp are very new words in Icelandic, so not every Icelandic person will know them, but this is a cutting edge course. I'm teaching you the newest things that are happening in Icelandic. About this very simple rule number 1, there is only one thing that we need to be aware of. And that is, even though the word is the same, for example, kyn and kyn, it's the same in the singular and the plural, when you add the greinir, when you add the, then of course the greinir is not the same. Just the word is the same, but the greinir is not the same. So for example, if you say kynið eitt, the gender is 1, we have only one gender, kynið eitt, but if we have 3 genders, we say kynin eru þrjú. So you add, as I hope you remember from episode number 16, you add ið to the singular neutral word and in to the plural neutral words. And then in the same way we have eplið when there's only one, but when we have many, Then we have äpplin, äpplin. So the word itself stays the same in the singular and the plural, but the is different. And in fact, when we get to the cases will also be slightly different. But in the nominative, it stays the same. So overall, the basic rule number 1 is very, very easy. Most neutral words stay the same in the singular, in the plural. So now it is rule number 2, or regla nummer 2. Regla nummer 2. And this is actually sort of an addendum to rule number 1. If the word does not end with an A, with an A, the word does not end with an A, but the last vowel of the word is an A, it transfers into an Ö. And we have this hopefully familiar sound chains. A verður Ö, or A becomes Ö. Okay, sounds a bit abstract. I'll just give you examples, then you'll be quick to catch up on it. Like we've seen many times in this course, when we have one child, we say eitt barn, eitt barn. But let's say we have 4 children, then we say fjögur börn, fjögur börn. So the word doesn't change in any way except that the A turns into an Ö. And we have many examples of this. This is a general rule that applies always. You cannot imagine not transferring it into Ö. It's an uncomfortable feeling. So you just have to do it. And another word is, for example, land. Okay, land. And this means a country usually. It can also mean like land, like property, land, property, but usually it means country. And then when you have many countries, you say land, land. Okay, just the A verður Ö. The A turns into an Ö. And one final example is half, half, which means an ocean, an ocean. And then when you have many oceans, we say höf, höf. So always when the word does not end with an A, but the last vowel of the word is an A, we turn it into an Ö, and that's how we will get the plural. And then the same rule as before applies to the greinar, so we would say landið, löndin, hafið, höfin, everything very normal there. And now to the third and final rule, or regla nummer 3, regla nummer 3. This rule is quite odd, and it only applies to very few words, but they're all fairly common, so I think it will be easy to learn once you listen to Icelandic a lot. And the rule goes like this. If you have a neutral word that does end with an A, okay, neutral word that does end with an A, then the last A is turned into an Ö, or a U. So I'll just show you examples so you can see how easy this is. So basically we have a lunga, which means a lung. So when we have one lung, we say eitt lunga, eitt lunga. But hopefully most of you have 2 lungs, and then we say tvö lungu, tvö lungu. So the last A is turned into an Ö. Eitt lunga, tvö lungu. Another extremely common word that behaves like this is the Icelandic word for an eye. Okay, for an eye. And when we have only one eye, then we have eitt auga, eitt auga. But when we have 2, then we have tvö augu, tvö augu. And note, because these words end with a vowel, then when we add the greinar, we don't add the extra I. We don't add the extra I. So when we say the eye, we say augað, augað. And when we say the eyes, then we say augun, augun. We just add the F and the N. We don't bother with the E because we don't like putting vowels together unless it's A or Ö. Otherwise we normally don't like it so much. So we try to avoid it as much as possible. So we say augað and augun. And then, for example, we have an idiom in Icelandic, which is betur sjá augu en auga. Okay? Betur sjá augu en auga. So the literal translation is something like better see eyes than an eye. So what it means is that you can see better with many eyes compared to with only one eye. This seems fairly obvious, and we use it, for example, if you're looking for something. Let's say we're looking for something and you're not finding it, then it's very useful to get help from somebody. So basically, if I'm looking for something, then I ask my friend and my grandmother, and we're all looking, and then we find it, something that I could not find by myself, then we say, betur sjá augu en auga. And this can also apply, for example, when you're proofreading things, when you're proofreading your essays or things like this. It's very useful to let somebody else also read it over, because betur sjá augu en auga. That's all for today. I hope it was quite simple, very straightforward. Hvorug kyn is the best kyn when it comes to plurals. Hver fleirtala þessara hvorugkyns orða? Or what is the plural for these neutral words? Just write down the answer, press pause, take your time, and then now I will give you the result. Eitt orð, mörg orð. Eitt bað, mörg böð. Eitt eyra, mörg eyru. Eitt hné, mörg hné. And finally, eitt glas and mörg glös. Now for the second homework, let's make it slightly more challenging. So now I want you not only to find the plural of these words, but also add the greinir or the to it. So, hver fleirtala með greini? And I show you here an example. The singular without greini is epli, and the plural with greini eplin. So press pause, take all the time that you need, and then I will give you the answer. Epli, eplin. Nafn, nöfnin. Borð, borðin. Blað, blöðin. Lunga, lungun, and finally hús and húsin. That's all for today. See you in the next episode. Sjáumst í næsta þætti. Bless, bless.